Okie dokie. So I've decided I'm going to complete the reading of Poetry for Young People, Robert Frost. And then I'm going to be done with YouTube. Because to make content and give it away seems ridiculous. And if that is going to continue to happen, I'm not going to feed it. I will take my creative endeavors and I will go elsewhere. I have this to finish and one more outing, and then I will let you know. I might even just take the whole channel down. So whoever's making money and pretending to be me will have to find somebody new to harass, and we'll see how that person does. I really wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it's not cool, and I refuse to feed it. But I'm going to complete what I started, and then feel good about something else, because that's what you do. Anyways, so we did read the section on summer, right? And I read the introduction, told us a little bit about him. I'm not sure if we'll get much bird action. It's hot. And it's later on in the day, and most of them have come and gone. But, you know, is what is. Yeah. Good job ruining this for me. It's not the first something that someone has chosen to wreck, and it probably won't be the last. But you know me. I brush myself off and I continue. Maybe this will get the birds coming. Ooh, brought the bee. The last word of a bluebird, as told to a child. Gosh. Man, the universe works in mysterious ways. Also, if you're listening, thank you for the penny. You know who you are. Thank you. It really means a lot. And if I could throw one back at you, I would. Okay, I'm gonna move away from the feeder and see if they come to have a snack while I read to you the last word of a bluebird. As I went out, a crow in a low voice said, "Oh, I was looking for you. How do you do? I just came to tell you, to tell Leslie, will you, that her little bluebird wanted me to bring word that the north wind last night that made the stars bright and made ice on the trough almost made him cough his tail feathers off. He just had to fly, but he sent her goodbye and said to be good and wear her red hood and look for skunk tracks in the snow with an axe, and do everything, and perhaps in the spring he would come back and sing." sometimes these kinds of things just create speechless situation. So many things I could tell you. I don't pick these things, they pick me. And it's simply just a poem. It says here, a crow speaks, bringing the message of a bluebird who's flying south for the winter. I think it's more than that. I think it's way more than that. Well, that was interesting. So right when I started to manipulate some of the settings, they changed. So, again, someone else is manipulating my channel. So, you know, I wish you would not spend anything. You can listen, but please, this is not a channel that's monetized. Don't let this person fool you. Don't do it. They don't have my consent to pretend to be me and to accept any money in any way, shape, or form. So, if they don't want to stop on their own, I'm going to stop all of this and continue to educate anybody who sees my live streams. Comments are welcome as long as you're respectful, but this is not a monetized, for the third time, monetized channel, and I'm not tolerating anybody disrespecting my integrity that way. Okay, so please keep that in mind. The next one is titled The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent into the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Wow, Robert Frost is basically throwing pennies at me. Cars are driving backwards up the hill, and Robert Frost is throwing pennies at me. Happy day. Happy day. The note at the bottom says, we all know the feel of a cool autumn day when we can shuffle our feet through fallen leaves and kick up the smells of the season. This is a poem about such a walk, about coming to a fork in the path, and about making choices in our lives. You know, sometimes you really don't have a choice to make a choice. I've come to that fork. I found a head of a spoon digging yesterday. It didn't have a handle, so I guess that means I have to choose the fork. Yeah, good for scooping but not stirring. Okay, the next one's called In Hardwood Groves. Hello, Nuthatch. The same leaves over and over again, they fall from giving shade above, to make one texture of faded brown, and fit the earth like a leather glove. Before the leaves can mount again to fill the trees with another shade, they must go down past things coming up. They must go down in the dark decayed. They must be pierced by flowers and put beneath the feet of dancing flowers. However, it is in some other world I know that this is the way in ours. So the note says, walking through a grove of hardwood trees, perhaps maples or oaks, Frost recognizes that before things are raised up, they must fall down. He uses some startling images, such as flowers piercing dead leaves, and a simile in which he compares the leaves to a leather glove. I would have got that wrong. I would have thought, and fit the earth like a leather glove. I would have thought that would be a metaphor. I would have gotten the incorrect answer on a test with that one. But it's probably because they use the phrase like a, which usually, points out a simile. Some stuff in our language is just kind of silly. It's a comparison nonetheless. But if you've ever put on a leather glove, those suckers are super snug. Anyways. Okay, the next one is October. It's August now. August 2026. Last year, August 2025. Felt very similar. But I had 3 dogs. And 2 cats left at the time. I don't know where this August will bring me. To another September where I have no place to start. Hopefully by October I will have figured it out. Oh, hushed October morning mild, thy leaves have ripened to the fall. Tomorrow's wind, if it be wild, should waste them all. The crows above the forest call, tomorrow they may form and go. Oh, hushed October morning mild, begin the hours of this day slow. Make the days seem to us less brief, hearts not averse to being beguiled. Beguile us in the way you know, release one leaf at break of day. At noon release another leaf, one from our trees, one far away. Retard the sun with gentle mist, enchant the land with amethyst. Slow, slow, for the grape's sake, if they were all, whose leaves already are burnt with frost, whose clustered fruit must else be lost, for the grape's sake along the wall. Okay, here's another scenario where I seriously can't make stuff up. I just changed the name of a short from grapevine to something different. Yeah, for grape's sake. I think that's going to have to be my new saying when I feel like swearing. I've done better, though, you must admit. I have definitely worked on my aggressive swearing. Like I said, if that's one of the worst things I do. For grape's sake, forgive me. This is a nice illustration. And the birds are starting to realize that there's food. It also has the description of New England October can have days that seem like winter. In this poem, Frost wants to put off the wintry days and keep the golden fullness of autumn. He speaks directly to October in a kind of prayer. It's funny when the wind gets pushy. The black walnut trees are the ones who seem to let go. So I've got, every once in a while, a yellow leaf coming down. Okay, I'll show you the photos, illustrations. Illustrations are done by Henri Sorensen, and this book was edited by Gary D. Schmidt, printed by Scholastic. Illustrations are beautiful. So we're going to read The Cow in Apple Time, which makes me think of the job I had for a while at the apple orchard. And then, on behalf of the chicory that gets mowed because it's so offensive, sarcasm at its best, late walk. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. Look at that. Mow it, right? Yeah. I can't understand. Sometimes I just can't. Okay, so let's deal with the cow. The cow in apple time. Something inspires the only cow of late to make no more of a wall than an open gate, and think no more of wall builders than fools. Her face is flecked with pumice and she drools. A cider syrup. Having tasted fruit, she scorns a pasture, withering to the root. She runs from tree to tree where lie and sweeten the windfall spiked with stubble and the worm eaten. She leaves them bitten when she has to fly. She bellows on a knoll against the sky. Her udder shrivels and the milk goes dry. No! No! Yes! I don't know if any of you at all follow me, you'll know why I'm so excited about the word knoll. Knoll. I know what it means. Do you hear me? Anyways. So it says at the bottom here in this poem, a cow has left the dry grass of its pasture and has started to eat fallen apples. Frost uses couplets, pairs of rhyming lines, to give the poem a light and pleasing rhyme. But something happens, and Frost points it out by changing from couplets to 3 lines rhyming together. Little things to point out, I guess, if you're teaching poetry or reading poetry. I never read those things until after, so I'm not very good at applying them. I fly by the seat of my pants here. I don't know. Just how it is. Okay, the one with the tiny blue flower. Funny enough, the woman who made me never forget what the meaning of knoll is was the lover of the blue chicory flower. So what's nice is these two are side by side in this book, and I have 2 reasons to think of her. One somewhat positive and one very positive. So we're going to lean on the air of positivity for this. A late walk. When I go up through the mowing field, the headless aftermath, smooth laid like thatch with the heavy dew, half closes the garden path. And when I come to the garden ground, the whir of sober birds, up from the tangle of withered weeds, is sadder than any words. A tree beside the wall stands bare, but a leaf that lingered brown, disturbed, I doubt not, by my thought, comes softly rattling down. I end not far from my going forth, by picking the faded blue of the last remaining aster flower to carry again to you. So thoughts at the bottom say, in late autumn you can sometimes walk through a field and see things that remind you of summer. Here Frost finds one last flower, an aster, and brings it back as a reminder. Kind of the same thing I said, just slightly different. These poems are reminders for me. Oh, geez Louise. The next one's fairly long, and it's called After Apple Picking. After apple picking. I long 2 pointed ladders sticking through a tree toward heaven still, and there's a barrel that I didn't fill beside it, and there may be 2 or 3 apples I didn't pick upon some bough, but I am done with apple picking now. Essence of winter sleep is on the night, the scent of apples, I'm drowsing off. I cannot rub the strangeness from my sight. I got from looking through a pane of glass I skimmed this morning from the drinking trough and held against the world of hoary grass. It melted, and I let it fall and break. But I was well upon my way to sleep before it fell, and I could tell what form my dreaming was about to take. Magnified apples appear and disappear, stem end and blossom end, and every fleck of russet showing clear. My instep arch not only keeps the ache, keeps the pressure of a ladder round. I feel the ladder sway as the boughs bend, and I keep hearing from the cellar bin a rumbling sound of load on load of apples coming in. For I have had too much of apple picking. I'm overtired of the the great harvest I myself desired. There were 10,000 fruit to touch, cherish in hand, lift down, and not let fall. For all that struck the earth, no matter if not bruised or spiked with stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap. As of no worth, one can see what will be trouble. One can see what will trouble this sleep of mine, whatever sleep it is. Were he not gone, the woodchuck could say whether it's like his long sleep, as I described, it's coming on, or just some human sleep. Wow. I imagine the arches of your feet would hurt a lot. There's a woodpecker on the diving board. I don't know if he'll make it over to you. He's thinking about it. He made it. Cool. I love that it says, I am overtired of the great harvest I myself desired. I think that's my favorite line in this poem. You know how when you set a goal and you work tirelessly to reach that goal, and you lose a lot of sleep because you're always thinking, how can I get there? How can I do it better? What do I need to change? How do I alter what I'm doing to make sure to solidify that I'm going to reach that goal? And I think it's interesting that he at least admits the great harvest I myself desired. You know, even those things that you really want can wipe you out. There's a difference between working yourself too thin and working steadily and consistently to reach a goal. You have to take a lot of things into consideration. And you also have to realize that your goal should never be set in stone. A cold snap could come along and all those apples could drop. That's a lot of empty crates. So if you've promised a certain amount of apples as your goal, you're going to lose control. So keep in mind, be flexible with yourself and your goals. Be kind to yourself. Be realistic. Set reachable goals. Even if you have to take a really big goal and break it down into tiny little goals so you can work your way up to that big goal. I think sometimes that's a really good way to look at it. But anyways, pardon my interjection. After this loud vehicle goes by, I'll read you what it says at the bottom of the page. As apple picking can be slow work, each apple must be picked by hand. While you hold yourself secure on the ladder with your legs, any apple that falls or is dropped will bruise and then rot, spoiling any other apples that are stored with that. In this poem, the weather is starting to turn wintry, and there's already ice on the water trough, and Frost is looking forward to a long winter sleep. Great illustrations. laugh as I hear a walnut drop. Really? What? Going for water is the next one. What are you doing? Okey-dokey. You done? Thanks. Going for water. The well was dry beside the door, and so we went with pail and can across the fields behind the house to seek the brook if still it ran. Not loath to have excuse to go,